The salary trap, why the system keeps you broke. You work hard, you got the degree, landed the job, maybe even climbed a few rungs on the ladder. Your salary is good, maybe even 6 figures, the kind of number you used to dream about. But then you look around. After the mortgage on the house you were told to buy, the payment on the car you deserve, and the dozens of other bills that bleed you dry, you're left with this nagging, persistent feeling that you're just running in place. You're living paycheck to paycheck with very little to show for it. That feeling isn't a mistake. It's not your fault. It's a feature, not a bug. You're caught in the salary trap. An invisible system engineered to keep you broke, dependent, and compliant. It's a system designed to turn your hard-earned income into someone else's assets. In this video, we're not just going to expose the hidden architecture of this trap. We're going to give you the exact, actionable blueprint to dismantle it in your own life. And finally, break free. Think about your paycheck, that big, satisfying number your employer tells you. Now, think about what you actually get to keep. Before you even have a chance to touch it, the system gets its cut. Invisible hands dive into your earnings and pull out chunks for taxes, for insurance, for retirement contributions that you just hope will be enough someday. What lands in your bank account is a fraction of what you earned. And from that moment on, it's a race against a clock that's been rigged against you. This isn't about budgeting better or skipping lattes. This is about understanding that you've been taught to play a game where the rules are designed for you to lose. The salary, the very thing you've been chasing your whole life, has become a comfortable cage. A pair of golden handcuffs. It provides just enough comfort to keep you from questioning the system, but not enough freedom to ever truly escape it. This video is your key to that cage. To break out of the trap, you first have to see the bars. The system keeping you broke operates through 3 silent, interconnected machines that run 24/7. They are the inflation grinder, the tax funnel, and the lifestyle treadmill. Let's break them down, because once you see how they work, you can never unsee it. The first machine is inflation. We're taught to think of inflation as some natural economic weather pattern, unfortunate but unavoidable. But that's not the whole story. In the context of the salary trap, inflation is an invisible tax. It's a silent partner in your finances that takes its cut before you do, ensuring that any progress you make is constantly being eaten away. You get a 4% raise and you feel like you're getting ahead. But then you go to the grocery store. Since early 2020, the cost of food has skyrocketed by roughly 25%. That's not a small leak. That's a gaping hole in your financial boat. Your raise wasn't a step forward. It was a desperate attempt to stay afloat while the tide was rising. And it's not just food. The cost of housing has surged by a staggering 45 to 50% in that same period. In the 50 largest US cities, one-bedroom apartment rents climbed an average of 41% between 2020 and 2025. Your raise gets vaporized before it even has a chance to make a difference. This is what I call the illusion of progress. The numbers on your pay stub go up, giving you a psychological pat on the back, but your actual purchasing power, your ability to command goods and services in the real world, is stagnating or even declining. The system loves this. Inflation ensures that even if you get a raise, you're still just running faster on the same spot of the treadmill. It keeps the pressure on. It makes sure you remain dependent on that next paycheck, that next annual review, forever chasing a horizon that the system itself is pushing further away. Inflation isn't just an economic statistic. It's a mechanism of control. The second machine is the tax system, but not just in the way you think. It's not just that you pay taxes. It's how the system is designed to tax your specific kind of income. A salary is what's known as active income. It's money you get for trading your time. The moment you stop working, the money stops. The system is uniquely brutal to this type of income. Before a single dollar hits your bank account, it passes through the tax funnel. Federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, Medicare are siphoned off automatically. This is a brilliant psychological trick. You're told you earn $100,000, but you never feel like a $100,000 earner because you never actually control that full amount. And it gets worse the more you earn. The system uses progressive tax brackets. Now, here's the most important part. The system has different rules for different kinds of money. The wealthy don't primarily earn salaries. They own assets, stocks, real estate, businesses that generate income through capital gains and dividends. And the system rewards this kind of income. If you hold an asset, like a stock, for more than a year and sell it for a profit, that's a long-term capital gain. Instead of being taxed at your ordinary income rate, which could be 24% or higher, it's typically taxed at a much lower rate, usually 15% for most people. Even with a potential 3.8% net investment income tax for high earners, the advantage is massive. Think about what this means. The system is explicitly designed to penalize the person who works for a living and reward the person whose money works for them. The wage earner is taxed heavily on their labor, while the asset owner is taxed lightly on their growth. It's a structural bias that makes building wealth through a salary alone incredibly difficult. The tax code isn't a neutral document. It's a blueprint for who wins and who keeps running in place. This is the third and maybe most insidious machine, because we operate it ourselves, guided by societal expectation. It's called lifestyle creep. Here's how it works. You get that raise, jumping from $85,000 to $115,000 a year. After the excitement, a new set of thoughts, planted there by decades of social conditioning, begins to sprout. I've worked so hard, I deserve a nicer car. So you upgrade from the reliable sedan to a luxury SUV, swapping a paid-off car for a $700 monthly payment. We're making more now. We should live in a better neighborhood. So you sell your modest house and take on a much larger mortgage, adding $1,000 or more to your monthly costs. People who earn what I earn have a bigger TV, a more exotic vacation, designer, clothes, more streaming subscriptions. Each upgrade seems reasonable, justified. But when you add them all up, that entire $30,000 raise is gone, completely consumed. Your income went up, but your ability to save, to invest, to build freedom has remained exactly the same. You're just running faster on a more expensive treadmill. This leads to the golden handcuffs. Your new, inflated lifestyle is now entirely dependent on that high salary. You might hate your job, you might be burned out, you might have a brilliant business idea, but you can't leave. You can't take the risk. The mortgage, the car payment, the tuition, these have become your prison bars. The high salary, once a symbol of success, is now the very thing chaining you to a life you may not even want. This isn't an accident. A workforce that's slightly in debt and dependent on the next paycheck is a predictable, controllable workforce. And this isn't just a middle-class problem. The financial fragility extends all the way to the top. It's staggering. Recent reports from Pimps and Lending Club are shocking. About a third of consumers earning over $250,000 you're also describe themselves as living paycheck to paycheck. These are people who have made it by every conventional measure, yet they are just as trapped and dependent as someone earning a fraction of that amount. They have built a beautiful, comfortable prison for themselves, and they don't even realize they're locked inside. So now you see the trap. You see the inflation grinder, the tax funnel, and the lifestyle treadmill working in perfect, terrible harmony. It can feel disheartening. It can feel like the game is hopelessly rigged. And it is. So you have to stop playing it. The escape isn't about earning a higher salary. A higher salary just makes the treadmill run faster. The escape is about changing the game entirely. It starts with a shift in your thinking, followed by a series of deliberate, strategic actions. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a get-free-for-life plan. It comes down to 5 critical steps. This is the most important step. Everything else flows from this. Your whole life, you've been conditioned to think like an earner. Your goal was to get a good job to earn a high salary. That is the wrong goal. Your new goal is to become an owner. An earner trades time for money. An owner uses capital to acquire assets that make money while they sleep. An owner's income stops the moment they stop working. An owner's assets keep producing, regardless. Let me say that again, because it's the central truth. A salary is a tool, not the prize. Its only purpose is to be converted, as efficiently as possible, into income-producing assets. Your job isn't your life. It's a temporary funding source for building a life of freedom. This mindset changes everything. A new car is no longer a reward. It's an anchor that costs you years of your freedom. A bigger house isn't a sign of success. It's a larger cage with more expensive bars. You stop asking, how much can I earn? And start asking, How much of what I earn can I convert into an asset? The goal is to make your paycheck optional. The goal is to get to a point where your assets cover your living expenses. At that point, you are free. You work because you want to, not because you have to. You negotiate from a position of power, not desperation. You can walk away. That is real wealth. Not a number on a pay stub, but options. Freedom, ownership. Financial freedom isn't found in high income. It's found in the gap between your income and your expenses. This gap is your escape hatch. The wider the gap, the faster you can crawl through it to freedom. Your single most important financial mission is to make this gap as wide as humanly possible. This means waging a ruthless, systematic war on lifestyle creep. Here's how you do it. First, draw a line in the sand. Look at your current lifestyle and, for the most part, freeze it. The next time you get a raise or a bonus, you don't ask, what can I upgrade? You commit in advance. 2. Allocating at least 50% of every single new dollar directly to your escape plan. Paying off debt and buying assets. When your income goes up, your savings rate must go up even faster. Second, you attack your biggest expenses. For most people, this is the big three: housing, transportation, and food. Forget about cutting out lattes. That's trying to bail out the Titanic with a teaspoon. The system wants you to obsess over tiny expenses. So your Dante noticed the giant ones sinking you. Could you move to a slightly less expensive area and save $500 a month? Could you drive a reliable used car and eliminate a $600 car payment? Could you plan your meals and slash your dining out bill by $400? Those 3 moves alone could open up a gap of over $1,500 a month. That's $18,000 a year. That is serious. Freedom buy-in capital. Third, you must obliterate high-interest credit card debt, personal loans. Any debt over 7 to 8% isn't just a bill. It's a weapon being used against you. Paying off a credit card with a 22% interest rate is like getting a guaranteed 22% return on your money. You will not find a better, safer return anywhere. List your debts from highest interest rate to lowest and attack them with every spare dollar. You cannot build a castle on a foundation of quicksand. Onset to high interest debt is gone. Every dollar from your gap has a new mission. Building your freedom fund. Some people call this an emergency fund, but that name is too passive. It implies waiting for something bad to happen. A freedom fund is active. It's a strategic war chest. Your goal is to stack 3 to 6 months worth of your essential living expenses in a liquid, high-yield savings account. Not your total expenses, your bare-bones budget to keep the lights on. The power of the freedom fund is not just financial. It's profoundly psychological. The moment you have 6 months of runway in the bank, the entire power dynamic of your life shifts. The fear that fuels the salary trap begins to evaporate. How differently would you negotiate for a raise if you knew you could walk away and be fine for 6 months? How much easier would it be to set boundaries with a toxic boss if you were terrified of missing your next rent payment? The freedom fund is your no money. It's your take this job and shove it fund. It's the buffer that lets you think clearly and make decisions based on long-term strategy instead of short-term fear. It's the first and most critical asset you will own, because it gives you mental clarity and bargaining power. Don't skip this step. With your freedom fund full, the game changes. Now, your monthly gap becomes an unstoppable force for wealth creation. Every dollar is a soldier you send out to fight for your freedom. Your mission is to use these soldiers to buy income-producing assets. This is where you truly go from earner to owner. There are 3 primary places to start. First, tax-advantaged accounts. Remember the tax funnel? This is how you fight back. Accounts like a 401k or a traditional IRA let you invest before taxes, reducing your taxable income today. Roth accounts, Roth IRA, Roth 401k are funded with after-tax dollars, but then all the growth and withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. Your company's 401k match, if they offer one, is free money. It is a 100% return on your investment. Instantly. You must contribute enough to get the full match. Not doing so is financial malpractice. Second, low-cost index funds. Inside these accounts, your primary weapon will be broadly diversified. low-cost index funds or These funds simply track a major market index, like the S&P 500. You aren't trying to pick the next hot stock. That's gambling. You are buying a small piece of the entire market and letting it grow. And you must be obsessive about keeping fees low. A 1% difference in annual fees might not sound like much, but a Forbes analysis showed it can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Choose funds with expense ratios of 0.1% or less. Third, cash flowing assets. As your portfolio grows, you can diversify into assets designed to generate regular income. This is the final stage of making your paycheck optional. The most common examples are rental real estate and dividend-paying stocks. A good rental property provides a monthly stream of cash flow. Dividend stocks are shares in established companies that pay you a portion of their profits. The goal here is a cash flow loop, where your assets generate cash, which you use to buy more assets, which generate even more cash. It's a virtuous cycle that builds your freedom exponentially. The final step is to destroy the single point of failure that keeps most people trapped. The single paycheck. Relying on one income stream makes you fragile. A layoff, a health issue, or a corporate shakeup can wipe you out. The wealthy understand this. You've probably heard the myth that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. While that specific number is unverified, the principle is IRS data confirms that wealthy individuals don't rely on a single paycheck. Their income flows in from multiple directions, with a much greater share coming from assets and businesses than from a salary. This doesn't mean getting a second job. That's just more trading time for money. It means building or buying scalable income streams. Start small. Can you turn a skill into a freelance service? Writing, design, consulting, coding. This is your first step away from total dependence. Can you build a small, scalable side business? An e-commerce store, a YouTube channel, an online course. The goal is to create something that isn't directly tied to the hours you put in. Something that can serve one customer or 1,000 with little extra effort. Can you get equity in your work? Negotiate for stock options or join an employee stock purchase plan (ESPP). This gives you a piece of the ownership, not just the salary. Each new stream of income is another layer of armor. It makes you more resilient. With one income stream, a job loss is a catastrophe. With 3, it's an inconvenience. With 5, it's just a data point. You move from fragile to robust, and eventually to antifragile, where shocks to the system can actually make you stronger. The salary trap is real. It is a system designed to channel your life as work into a machine that benefits others. It uses the quiet poisons of inflation, taxes, and lifestyle expectations to keep you on a treadmill, forever chasing a horizon you can never reach. But now, you're aware, and awareness is the first and most critical step to freedom. You can see the bars of the cage. You can see how the trap works. You no longer have the excuse of ignorance. Escaping isn't easy. It requires discipline. It requires saying no to the societal programming that screams at you to consume, to upgrade, to conform. It requires choosing long-term freedom over short-term gratification. But the path is clear. Shift your mindset from earner to owner. Engineer a massive gap between what you make and what you spend. Build a freedom fund as psychological armor. Convert your surplus into a machine that buys assets. And diversify your income so that no single person or company holds the key to your survival. Your salary is a powerful tool, but it is just a tool. It is not the goal. The goal is a life lived on your own terms. A life of options. A life of ownership. A life of freedom. The system is designed to keep you a player in that game, but you don't have to play. You can create your own. The choice is yours. If you're ready to stop playing their game and start building your own, subscribe to this channel and join a community of people who are taking back control. We're just getting started.